Okay. It's really loud in my ear hole. Okay. So here's what we got. We got 4 mostly unopened precons. And we're going to build our Gallifrey Stands Doctor Who deck from all of these cards. So I am making a difference. It is going to be 5 colors. But it is going to be more fun hosting the helm of this deck so I can make my doctors cheaper. Incidentally, make them a little bit bigger. And why not throw black in the do? All right, so the only thing that I've opened, I opened the box, but I didn't. This is obviously sealed and it's plastic, and I did look at these. So what we're gonna do, I think first is we're gonna open all the boxes, pull everything out, get our collector's boosters in one spot, all our Lane's Chase cards in one spot, and we're gonna go from there. So, sup, Brofeus? How are you doing on this lovely, lovely evening? So, this is the box. Okay, we don't really need this anymore. So this is the Plane Chase cards that come with it. We have... Okay, so we have another Plane Chase die. King Spade, how are you? You fixed my chat box. Part of the reason is because I sadly have been not streaming as much as I would like. Because I am just very, very... Shabam! Looking good. So we got another Plane Chase die. You do get a life tracker, but it only goes up to 40, which is kind of disappointing. We got this, we got that. Okay, so here's this. And then... Okay, so it comes with a deck box. Did this one not come with a collector's booster? Or was the collector's booster in here? Ah, yes. Here's the collector's booster. Boom. Okay. All right. Don't need the deck box either. So we'll set this deck here. And then it comes with like a tiny rule book, but okay. To open timey-wimey. By the way, if you plan on getting the Doctor Who decks... Oh, well, I appreciate you stopping by, man. It's always nice having people come in. But I don't stream on just Twitch anymore. I do stream on YouTube, so if you find yourself on YouTube, you can watch me over there. And it's actually ad-free over there. So... The next one is the timey-wimey deck. But if you plan on buying this deck, so something that I found interesting. So if you plan on buying this deck here, you are going to be paying about $75 just for this deck. But I paid like $185 for all 4. So you can get all of them for $50 each if you buy them as a bundle. And I don't know if they would have come with that or not. So... for all of you to know, it is definitely... All right, I turned the heat on for like 5 minutes. But I don't know if you saw, we have a new friend in the back here, Lord Barrington. You can thank Thor Big Club for that. I do eventually plan on hanging him on the wall. That would be very cool, and then he would be more prominent in the background. That's the plan, long term, anyway. The last box opened up a lot easier than this one. Ugh. This is why you never open things on stream. Because then when you struggle, you look like a weakling. Alright. Alright, so this is officially empty. Don't yell at me. Alright, so we got, again, another plane chase deck. The deck box, and then the deck itself. Oh, this life counter looks really cool. The art on the other side. Oh, boring. Like, I don't know what like these pop outs are for, but another planar die. But yeah, the next time I play Magic, I'm hoping I can play with the plane chase, and it's gonna be wunderbar. That's that. Boop boop and boop. Okay. Okay. So the real question is, once I have everything out of the box, what should I open first? All right, we got that one here. We got the last plane chase die. And then deck box. I do want to take a look at, oh, Missy's on it. Okay. This. Dave, I promise I'll pick that up later. All right. So we got our collector boosters. We got our 4 decks. We got our plane chase cards. So what should I open first? Should I start going through each individual deck and going over the cards and saying what I think about them? Should I open the collector's boosters because they're exciting? Should I go through the plane chase cards and what they do and explain how plane chase goes? You want me to open the decks first? Okay, well, boosters last. Okay. So open, do you want me to open, like, okay, so what order should I open it in? Should I go in like chronological orders like this and then have the villains last? Should I do the villains first and see who the villains are faced up against? Like how should I be doing this? By the way, Thork Big Club, not villains last. Okay. Should I do time order or should I just do this one first because, you know, because the 10th Doctor is like one of the best doctors ever. Time? Do this one first. And by the way, your Thork Big Club isn't sub to me anymore. If you want to, you know, use that Prime sub, Alan. Timey-wimey. Okay. So this is the most expensive Precon. That's right, this thing opens like a pack of cigarettes. Don't ask me how I know what that's like. Open! That didn't work. Anyway, try that again. All right. Okay. So this is the showcase card. This isn't an actual card. It's actually like super thick. But then we got the 10th Doctor. He is a 5-mana 3/5 Time Lord Doctor. And it says whenever whenever you attack, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. Put 3 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. And then I can pay 7 mana to time travel 3 times, activate as a sorcery. This card's really cool. I was able to do really fun things with the mock-up that I had before, but the planned, like, out of the box partner is supposed to be Rose Tyler. Then Rose Tyler gets +1/+1 for each time counter on it. And then whenever Rose Tyler attacks, put a time counter on it for each suspended card you own and each other permanent you control with a time counter on it. So as you can see, out of the box, this thing is about time counters and vanishing counters. Like vanishing also requires time counters. So like anything that involves counters or time counters, this is what this deck's about. Then we got Wilfred Mott, one of the coolest peoples in the TV show. I would love that. That's what I'm waiting for. That one day I'll be on a Magic card. So Wilfred Mott. Heyo, souls. So today we're opening up 4 Precons and then mashing them together to make one big scary deck. So Wilfred Mott. Yeah, that's probably pretty surreal. So Wilfred Mott, look at he's a 4-mana 2/4. Look to the stars. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on Wilfred Mott. Then look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of time counters on Wilfred Mott. You may put a non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest in the bottom in a random order. That is really cool. So I am going to intentionally leave the doctors to the side because I plan on building a Gallifrey Stands deck out of all of this. Who's texting me? Okay. Just work related stuff. Text the wifey poo. Text Andy. Okay. So this is the card that everyone's all about that makes this deck really expensive. It is Everybody Lives. Come on, focus. It's Seriously, my camera is really annoying me today. All creatures gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Players gain hexproof until end of turn. And players can't lose life this turn. And players can't lose the game or win the game this turn. So this card's really good. Everything comes to dust. This card's really cool too. I love the flavor behind it. This is when Rose Tyler sucked in the time vortex into herself and basically became a god for a hot minute. Really cool. So it is a 10 mana spell that has Convoke, which means I can tap creatures to help pay for the card. And then exile all creatures except those that share creature types with creatures that convoke this spell. All artifacts and enchantments. So really good selective, hopefully one-sided board wipe. Sometimes it won't be, but you can only do so much. And then we got ourselves 4 Nox, actually a really good draw spell for white. Also one of the best episodes of the series. This is when the 10th Doctor dies and becomes Matt Smith. Also a really good card. It's Vanishing 4 at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, draw a card. And then it will disappear after 4. So, I mean, you draw 3 cards, but like in the deck that I plan on building, it probably will stick around longer than that. This is also a really good card, the Pandorica. It is a legendary artifact for 3. You may choose not to untap the Pandorica during your untap step. You pay 2 and tap it. Untap another target non-land permanent, then phase it out. It can't phase in as long as the Pandorica remains tapped. When the Pandorica becomes untapped or leaves the battlefield, that permanent phases in. Activate only as a sorcery. So the cool thing is like you can't like permanently phase something out, which is kind of nice. The Wedding of River Song, really good episode, really cute. I love it a lot. Really cool card too. It's draw 2 cards, then you may exile a non-land card from your hand with the number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. Then target opponent does the same. Cards exiled this way don't have suspend, gain suspend. Time travel. So the cool thing about this is you immediately remove some a counter from it right away from just casting the spell. Excuse me, it's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. Adipose Offspring. This episode was a cute one. So it is a 4 mana 2/2, or you can emerge it for 5. You may cast this spell for by sacrificing your creature and paying the emerge cost to reduce the reduce by that creature's mana value. So if you sacrifice a 6-drop, you can actually play this thing for free. Specifically a 5 and 1 white, or 2 white and 4, something along those lines. And then it says, when Adipose Offspring enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 white alien creature token. If Adipose Offspring emerges, emerge cost was paid. Instead, create X tokens, where X is the sacrificed creature's toughness. It's a cool card. Doesn't really help with any plan. This might be interesting in like a token deck or something like that. So, something that might keep in mind for future references. Then we have Astrid Peth. This episode was really cool. I kind of missed it, but I didn't go back to fix it because it's not like super relevant to the story, but I enjoyed the episode nonetheless. When Astrid Peth enters the battlefield or attacks, create a food token. Whenever you sacrifice a clue or a food, Astrid Peth explores. An explorer is you reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Then put this card back on. Then put the card back or put it into your graveyard. It's nice little top deck manipulation and stuff like that. And then a food or treasure token, or I'm sorry, a food or clue token, I think it's a really good add-in, but the deck that I'm currently building will not be focusing on that very much. Kraken Time. It's Vanishing 3. When Kraken Time enters the battlefield, at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile target creature an opponent controls until Kraken Time leaves the battlefield. So the only problem that I see with this card is you pay 4 mana to do nothing until your next turn, which kind of sucks. But it does exile 3 things, but then they immediately come back. So it's I don't know. I don't know if I have good thoughts on this card yet or not. I thought you said Kraken Time. Oh, I have a Kraken Time deck. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I don't know if this is going to make the cut, because there was a lot of times when I was stop. Crack in time. Yes, not crack in time. Crack in time. Turns out spaces are important. Talking too fast is not good. So then we got The Girl in the Fireplace. Great episode. I love this episode a lot. So you create a 1/1 human a noble creature token with Vanishing 3. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to this creature. Then you create a 2/2 horse creature token with Doctor. You with doctors you control have horsemanship. That's hilarious. Yeah, like stop hammer time. Right. Oh, I'm picking it up now. Oh my god, I am the worst. That's why words are better, better than text. And now no, I'm not ignoring you. I'm clearly not. Anyway, the girl in the fireplace gives all you create a 2/2 horse that has doctors you control have horsemanship, and then the third one is whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player this turn, time travel. Pretty cool card. Then we got Martha Jones, one of the 10th Doctor's companions. It's a pretty good one, if I say so myself. The card itself is not my favorite. I see what they were doing with the card, but honestly, like, it would have been a little bit better. So, Martha Jones reads, Woman who walked the earth. When Martha Jones enters the battlefield, investigate. And then whenever you sacrifice a clue, Martha Jones and up to one other target creature can't be blocked this turn. I wish it cost like one more and it had a way to recur investigating. Let me see if it's like hard to read. So video. Six stuff. Fine, you got auto. Saturation. Crap. Control. It's because I'm not really talking to the mic, I'm talking to myself. This doesn't seem very clear. Why? Take a look at. Maybe that'll help. And then let's figure video. Uh. Now everything. All right. Filters. Oh, why does it seem so fucking dull? Uh. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Why is this thing struggling so hard? I think that's okay for now. All right. Still hate how you can't really read it. Maybe I should just get a better camera. Maybe I'll switch these two at some point. I might have a second one of those, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Anywho, back to our regularly scheduled program. We got Nano Gene Conversion, which is, again, Are You My Mummy? It's a really great episode. You choose target creature you control. Each other creature becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn, except it isn't legendary. So the funny thing is it turns your opponent's creatures into that creature as well. Really cool idea. Then we got Flesh Duplicate, which is a 2-mana clone with Vanishing 3. It says you may have Flesh Duplicate enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has Vanishing 3. That creature doesn't have Vanishing. Pretty cool card. I mean, another 2-mana clone is never a bad thing. And then we have the 11th Hour. Great episode. First episode of Matt Smith. You search your library for a doctor card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and shuffle. Create a food token and a 1/1 human creature token with doctor spells you control, cost 1 less to cast. And then you can create a token that's a copy of target creature, except it's legendary alien named Prisoner Zero. Cool thing, if I copy a legendary, like a doctor, it has a different name, so I get to have both of them, which is pretty cool. All of History at Once, another great episode. 4 mana, you time travel and you storm. Don't plan on casting too many spells all at once, but I can see why it's in here. Because when you suspend and cast, like, let's say you cast 2 things for free on your upkeep from things leaving suspend, and you have a whole bunch of others, it's just really good. Then we got Donna Noble, Soulbound. You may pair this creature with another creature. When either enters the battlefield, they remain paired as long as you control both of them. When Donna or a creature it is paired with is dealt damage, Donna deals that much damage to target opponent. Pretty cool. It's just a good card. I don't think it really fits with what I'm trying to do, sadly. Because Donna Noble is actually one of my favorites. It's like she is one of the one people that don't want to sleep with a doctor, which is kind of nice. Then we got Amy Pond, who also partners with Rory Williams. When Amy Pond deals combat damage to a player, choose a spend card you own and remove that many time counters from it. So the idea is you have the 11th Doctor, Amy Pond, and Rory Williams kind of all in your command zone, which is pretty cool. Even though Rory Williams wouldn't be in there, but when Amy Pond enters the battlefield, you search for him. Pretty cool. Extract Beauty. Great episode. That's actually the episode I am on next. So when me and my wife watch it tomorrow night, that's the episode we will be watching. And it says, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play those cards until end of turn. Put 4 time counters on each of those cards that has suspend. I mean, it seems okay. I just don't... It's not my favorite. But like in a deck like this, I could see it working well. Then we got RMS Titanic. So wait, question. If I don't cast them, then I put 4 time counters on them? Or is it when I cast them, I put 4 time counters on it? That's something I would have to ask somebody that knows things. I am not one of those know things people. RMS Titanic. Great episode. We saw the person from the RMS Titanic earlier. It's a 7/1 flying trample vehicle. And then when RMS Titanic deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it and create that many treasure tokens. great episode, Mercy or Kill. We saw another card from that episode, which would be the Convoke spell. We saw it earlier. And it says Coward Killer. So this is one of those... Oh, this isn't a fuse card. So this you have to choose whichever one you want to cast. But you can't cast both. And Coward is a 2-mana sorcery. Target creature can't block this turn and becomes a coward in addition to its other types until end of turn. Time travel. And then Killer deals 3 damage to target creature and each other creature that shares a creature type with it. So you basically can pick a creature that can't block. It becomes a coward or time travel, or you kill basically all Daleks, which is pretty cool. We got the 9th Doctor. We're not there yet though. The Parting of Ways. This is a really cool episode. Really cool card. That did a lot of work for me in the last game. It's a 6-mana saga. Exile the top 5 cards of your library for each non-land card revealed this way. Put a number of time counters on it, or equal to the mana value. It doesn't have suspended, gain suspend. Then the next time, the next phase is time travel twice, and then for each opponent, destroy up to 1 target artifact that player controls. Really cool card. I like it a lot. Then we got the 9th Doctor. Such a good card. He is a 3-mana 2/4 haste, and then into the TARDIS. Whenever the 9th Doctor becomes untapped during your untap step, you get an additional upkeep step after this step. So we're gonna put him here. Ooh, excuse me. Then we got Sally Sparrow. You may cast creature spells as though they had flash. Whenever 1 or more other creatures you control leave the battlefield, investigate. This ability to trigger only once each turn. Really great episode. Blink. If you don't watch Doctor Who, you should go at least watch this episode. It is season 3, episode 9, I think it is. Don't quote me on this one, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Great episode. Everyone should watch it. If that doesn't suck you into Doctor Who, best thing about that episode is you don't need to know too much about Doctor Who. Like, you don't need to know anything about Doctor Who to enjoy that episode. So then we got Jenny, Generated Anomaly, which is actually the Doctor's daughter, which is really cool. She is a 2/3 double strike for 4. Whenever Jenny deals combat damage to a player, it explores, so she just gets bigger or gives you lands in your hand. Pretty cool card. Just doesn't fit with what I'm trying to do, so sad face. So then we got Rory Williams. This is the partner with Emilion Pond. He is a 3/3 first strike for 2. First strike lifelink. And then when you cast this spell from anywhere other than exile it with 3 time counters on it. It gains suspend and investigate. Really cool card. Cool if you cascade into it. Since you're casting it from exile, just go straight into play. So anyway, the 11th Doctor. I am talking. Whenever the 11th Doctor deals combat damage to a player, you may exile a card from your hand with a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. Cool card. Then we got the War Doctor. Whenever 1 or more other permanents phase out, and whenever 1 or more other cards are put into exile from anywhere. Wow, I missed so many triggers in my last game because, like, oh god, this card's so good. Whenever the War Doctor attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of time counters on it to any target. If a creature dealt damage this way would die, exile it instead. Wow, such a cool card. Regeneration Restored. Really cool episode. By the way, this episode is also a really good episode. It's the 50th anniversary episode, which is a really cool episode. If you haven't watched it, go watch it now. And then, yes. Anyway, Regeneration Restored. This is a cool episode. This is an episode where the Doctor gets really, really old. I've only seen it once. It was a really cool episode. It's a Christmas special, so really cool episode. Has Vanishing 12. This enchantment enters the battlefield with 12 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter from it. Whenever the last time, when the last is removed, sacrifice it. And then it says, when one or more time counters are removed from Regeneration Restored, scry 1 and gain 1 life. Then Regeneration Restored has no time counters on it. Exile it. When you do, take an extra turn for this one. So that is going to make the deck, because like I did notice that I was doing a lot of removing of time counters or time traveling a lot in the last game. So having another extra turn spell might be a good idea for a couple of things. So then we got Idris Soul the TARDIS. Cool episode. This is where he thinks he finds another Doctor, and he goes to this basically this graveyard planet or scrapyard and finds a whole bunch of dead TARDISes, gets really angry, and then the soul of the TARDIS goes into some lady. It's pretty cool. So Idris Soul of the TARDIS is a legendary human incarnation. Vanishing 3. When Idris Soul of the TARDIS enters the battlefield, exile another artifact you control until she leaves the battlefield. And then Idris has all activated abilities of exiled card and gets +X/+X, where X is the exiled card's mana value. I think this card is great on its own, but other than that, it's not super amazing. Then we got the Face of Bo, which I'm really sad that they did not have a Captain Jack Harkness card. I mean, I know this is Captain Jack Harkness, but like, you gotta have Captain Jack Harkness. He's such a good character. You may cast a spell with Suspend from your hand. If you do, pay its Suspend cost rather than its mana cost. Activate this only as a sorcery. Interesting card. I think this would be a cool deck on its own, but again, I do, like, in this deck there's only like 6 or 7 cards that have Suspend, because what this deck does is it like makes you exile cards and give it Suspend, so it doesn't work as well as I would like, but it definitely does some things. We got Run for Your Life, which is a pretty cool card. 1 or 2 target creatures gain haste until end of turn. They can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste. So it's basically like gives 2 creatures unblockable until end of turn, which is really cool. And then you can pay 4 and exile 4 cards from your graveyard to cast it again. Really cool. Then we got the Day of the Doctor. Exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a legendary card. You may play that card for as long as Day of the Doctor remains on the battlefield. Put the rest of those exiled cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. So you do that for 3 times, and then choose up to 3 Doctors. You may exile all other creatures. If you do, Day of the Doctor does 13 damage to you. Interesting card. Interesting thing. So like, for instance, the last time I played Day of the Doctor, I cast it and didn't have any legendaries left, which means I exiled 15 cards, which means the War Doctor got 15 time counters, which means when it attacks, I could have dealt 15. Like, oh god, it's crazy, absolutely insane. Oops. Then we got Gallifrey Falls, and then no more. This card would be a lot better if it wasn't so high costed. This is one of the classic fuse cards, which means if you cast one side, you can pay for the other side and get both sides. Gallifrey Fall deals 4 damage to each creature. If a creature dealt this way would die this turn, exiled instead. And then any number of target creatures you control phase out. Great episode. Great episode. Another really cool card that is going to end up in my Gishath deck. But it is a Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. Great episode too, by the way. That is one of the next season's episodes, but it is a 7/7 dinosaur for 6 mana with vigilance and trample. Other dinosaurs you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance and trample. Great on its own, but like if I want, I can suspend it for 4 for 5 mana. Whenever a time counter is removed from dinosaurs on a spaceship, while it is exiled, create a 2/2 red-white dinosaur creature token with flying and haste. So good. I don't know who Kate Stewart is. Oh wait, is that the lady from the Waters of Mars? That was a cool episode. That was a really cool episode. But anyway, whenever you put 1 or more time counters on a permanent you control, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. And then whenever Kate Stewart attacks, you may pay 8. If you do, attacking creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is the number of time counters among permanents you control. Absolutely. So the second ability is really expensive to activate, but really cool because like if you have like the what was it? The regeneration card that costs 2 that has 12 time counters on it. Like if you have 10 mana, you're giving all your creatures +12/+12. That's pretty sick. But it doesn't give them trample, which is kind of sad. But then you got Rotating Fireplace, which is a really cool one. Rotating Fireplace enters the battlefield tapped with a time counter on it. Then you add colorless mana equal to the number of time counters on it, and then you can pay 4 to time travel. I really like this card. I enjoy it a lot. The Moment from the 50th anniversary episode. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on The Moment. And then you can pay 2 mana to untap target creature you control and phase it out until the moment leaves the battlefield. And then you can pay 3 to destroy each non-land permanent with mana value less than or equal to the number of time counters on the moment. Then sacrifice the moment. Activate only as a sorcery. So it's like a strictly worse Oblivion Ring kind of thing. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a pretty cool card, but then we got Tenzilor Clock Tower, which is the same as the what's it called? Same episode as the regeneration one with the blue-white enchantment. It's in a legendary land. You can tap to add a blue with a time counter on this card. And then you pay 2 and then remove 12 time counters from it and exile it. Then you shuffle your graveyard hand into your library, then draw 7 cards. Activate only if you control the Time Lord. Really cool. Like this land a lot. Grasp of Fate. We know it. We love it. When Grasp of Fate enters the battlefield, for each opponent, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls until Grasp of Fate leaves the battlefield. Really cool. I like it a lot. Farewell. This is another really expensive card. And the art on it is absolutely stunning. Excuse me. 6 mana. You can choose 1 or more. Exile all artifacts, all creatures, all enchantments, all graveyards. Hits damn near anything. Pretty cool card. Probably won't put it in my Doctor deck just because it's 6 mana. Out of Time. When Out of Time enters the battlefield, untap all creatures. Then those creatures phase out until Out of Time leaves the battlefield. Put a time counter on Out of Time for each creature. Oh. I don't know how I feel about this card. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Because when it enters the battlefield, you're going to phase out all your stuff. All creatures. Interesting. So you're going to phase out the whole entire board. And then after the board, and then All right, hold on. When it enters the battlefield, untap all creatures. Then those creatures phase out until end of turn. Oh, until it leaves the battlefield. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It seems seems rather niche. Wedding Ring, great card. It's going in the deck. Did so much work for me the last game. If you were here for that last game, please put a 1 in chat. I'm just seeing if you guys are paying attention now. Saying I wasn't paying attention to you, Alan. That hurts my feelings. Anywho. So Wedding Ring, when it enters the battlefield, you if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. And whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. And then whenever an opponent... You absolutely can ask me a question, Souls. What's up? Inspiring Refrain is a really cool card. I like it. It's not like amazing, but it's also not awful. You draw 2 cards and then you exile it and then you basically resuspend it. I like it. Cool. As Foretold is a great card. It's definitely going to make it into the deck at the beginning of your... I'm playing Pokemon Sword right now, and I picked up an item off ground called Bottle of PP Up. I can't find it anywhere in my bag, and I can't find anything about it online. I've never actually played Pokemon Sword. I mean, the only Pokemon games I've really played are Pokemon Red, Pokemon Yellow, and Pokemon Fire Red. So I am not too sure, but I would assume so PP Up is a consumable item that raises the PP of any move by 1. So, but it would be just PP Up in your inventory. So maybe just look for that. So As Foretold is a really cool card. At the beginning of your upkeep, you put a time counter on it. Then once each turn, not specifically yours, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost of a spell, where X is less than, or is X or less, where X is the number of time counters on As Foretold. Really great card. Fractured Identity, love that card. Very bad unless if you're targeting Phage. But it didn't see a PP Up in my bag either. I even sorted by items by name. It was neither in the PS or the PS. I am so confused. I honestly don't have a good answer for you. It's not like it when it's not in your key items, right? Like I don't think it would be there, but I would look there too. Fractured Identity. You can exile target non-land permanent. Each player other than its controller creates a token that's a copy of it. So like you target Phage, each opponent gets a Phage, and then they immediately. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you, Hoss. I'm sorry. And then these are just a whole bunch of lands. These are all reprint lands. I'm not gonna. Oh, there's even more. All right. So we got some lands here. Then we got a Traxy Warden, which is a 6/6 flyer for 6. When it enters the battlefield, exile to 1 target tapped creature, and then you can suspend it for 2 for 5 turns. Then we got Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey. You time travel and draw a card. Pretty simple. Time Beetle, another cool card. It's a 1/1 with Skulk. Whenever a player Time Beetle deals combat damage to a player, time travel. Star Whale, great episode, but nothing too spectacular. It is a 8 mana 8/8 flying vigilance. Other creatures you control have Ward 2, which is a really good ability, and then you can pay 2 and suspend it for 6 turns. Sublime Soothsayers, really cool card. When it enters the battlefield, reveal cards from the top of your library. So you reveal a non-land card with mana value 3 or greater. Exile that card with 3 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend, and put the rest revealed card at the bottom of your library in a random order. Love this card. Judoon Enforcers. He's an 8/8 for 7 trample. No more than one creature can attack you each combat. And then you can suspend it. Cool card. Psychic Paper. We have Psychic Paper. As Psychic Paper is attached to a creature, choose a creature card and creature type. Sorry, creature name and creature type. Creature has Ward 1. It can't be blocked except by name. Its name and creature type are the last chosen name and creature type. Wait, well, what? It can't be blocked. And its name and creature type are the last chosen name and creature type. Oh, that's cool. Then we got the TARDIS. This cool card. Whenever TARDIS attacks, if you control a Time Lord, the next spell you can cast this turn has Cascade. And you may Planeswalk. We'll discuss what Planeswalk or Planeswalk later. Cool card. It's definitely going to make it in the 99 because if I had 15 doctors and not a single TARDIS, I think everyone would hate me. And it would give a lot less gravitas to the first Doctor. So we got the Sonic Screwdriver. The Sonic Screwdriver is the same in all 3 decks. They just have different arts. So it's a 3 mana artifact that you tap to add a mana of any color. You're going to untap another artifact. You pay 2 to scry 1. You pay 3 to make target creature not be blocked this turn. We got Arcane Signet. We got Soul Ring. Clock Spinning, which is a pretty cool card. It's a 1 mana spell with buyback. And then you choose a counter on target permanent or suspend card. Remove that counter from that permanent or card, or put another of those counters on it. And then you can buy it back for 3 mana. So for 4 mana, you can put this back in your hand and remove or add a time counter somewhere. Then we got Thought Vessel, which is the clock, which is really cool. And you have no maximum hand size. Mind Stone. This talisman is definitely going to make it into the deck. I was talking to my friend, and we were trying to figure out which way we're going to do it, but we'll figure that out later. So we got Lightning Greaves, we got Talisman of Conviction, and then the rest of the lands here. The lands here. Okay. Then we got our Soldier token and our Copy token. Oh, that's really cool. We'll put this here. We got our 2/2 Alien. And we got our 2/2 Flying Haste Dragons. We got a Copy Dinosaur, Copy Alien, Dinosaur Alien, Copy Food, which is really cool. It's the Fish Sticks and Custard. We got our Human Noble and our Clue. We got our Treasure. We got our Human that makes doctors cheaper. We got our 2/2 Horse that gives doctors horsemanship. And then the Soldier, Dinosaur, and Soldier. And useless cards. So that is the timey-wimey deck. Wow. I have been going over this deck for 1 hour. Ugh, I gotta speed things up. So we're gonna just go ahead, leave the doctors here. Oh. Interesting. Well, I'm glad you found it. So, we'll do this. We'll put this over here. Okay. What deck do we open up next? Ugh. Barrington! We got the 4th Doctor, 13th Doctor, or the baddies. Gozi. Go with the fourth doctor. Okay, we got 4 doctors here. All right, we got the 4th doctor. What I should do is I should like figure out which ones like are more important than others, so when I'm searching for doctors I know like this is like a doctor, this is the one I want the most, and then go down the list in like a specific order or something. Got the 4th doctor. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. And then he said, would you like a... Once each turn, you may play a historic land or cast a historic spell from the top of your library. When you do, create a food token. Artifact, legendaries, and sagas are historic. So, I'm 99.95% sure timing rules do apply for this, but regardless, cool card. You got Sarah Jane Smith. Whenever you cast a historic spell, you investigate. Great card. Most of this deck is going to be historic anyway. So, yeah. So we got Ramona the Second, Time Lord Scientist, and then it's got it's a 3/3 vigilance, and then create a token. Create a tap token that's a copy of target token that entered the battlefield this turn. I won't be making too many tokens, so, and if I do, it's not really worth it to me. Then we got Joe Grant. Historic spells have cycling, and whenever you cycle a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Joe. Then we got another token, Jovanka. Braveheart. Whenever you attack, target attacking historic creature gets +1/+1 and gains indestructible until end turn. That's pretty cool. Got Barbara Wright. Sagas you control have read ahead. Awesome. Ian Chesterton. If you watched my last episode of the AZA Commander podcast, you know what this card does. It's really cool. Each saga has replicate. Peary Brown. The first historic spell you cast each turn has Convoke. Oh, that's pretty cool. And then we got Crisis of Consequences. You choose one, destroy all tokens, or destroy all non-land, non-token permanents. The Caves of Andazani. A lot of these cards I won't know the references to because I've never seen any of the old Doctor stuff, but here we are. Put 2 stun counters on each of up to 2 target tapped creatures. For each non-saga permanent, choose a counter on it. You may put an additional counter of that kind on that permanent. Then search your library for a Doctor card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle. Not necessarily worth it because it is the 4th turn that happens, so I don't see myself waiting that long to search for a Doctor. And then that's whatever. I mean, this is okay too. Basically it keeps a creature 2 creatures tapped down for 3 turns. But doesn't I don't think it's worth 4 mana. And then we got each player creates 3 tapped 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. These tokens are goaded. And then for as long as time of war games, the war games remains on the battlefield. Okay, put a +1/+1 counter on each warrior creature. And then you may exile non-token creatures you control. A non-token creature you control. When you do, exile all warriors. Boo. That card's interesting. Probably super relevant with the episode, but again, I'd never seen it. Trial of the Time Lord. Exile target non-token creature an opponent controls until Trial of Time Lord leaves the battlefield. And then you do so you exile 3 creatures, and then starting with you, for each player votes for innocent or guilty. If guilty gets more votes, the owner of each card exiled would puts that card on the bottom of their library. Problem I don't like about this one, it has to be guilty has to win. So you would need to either convince all 3 opponents that the stuff that you exiled is worth going on the bottom of their library, or you have to pick on someone for 3 turns in a row, and then everyone else is just going to say, oh yeah, you're guilty, you don't get your stuff back. It's tricky. If it was tied, it might be easier, but I don't know. The Knight of the Doctor. When it enters the battlefield, you destroy all creatures. And then the second one, you return target legendary creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put your choice of first strike, vigilance, or lifelink counter on it. That's cool, I guess. Too expensive though. Traverse Eternity. Draw cards equal to the highest mana value among historic permanents you control. Interesting. K9's great card. I think K9's going to make it into the cut because as long as K9 Mark 1 is untapped, other legendary creatures you control have Ward 1. That Ward 1 will make a huge difference. And then you can tap it and tap target legendary creature you can't be blocked this turn. Block this turn. Pretty cool card. And for only being 1 mana, it's really cool. Adric, mathematical genius. You can copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. So this would help like with Gallifrey stands, but I don't know if I have enough activated, or I probably do have enough that I could run this, but 3 mana on top of tapping it is really expensive. So we'll see what happens in the long run. So let's just put these back here. Building the deck might have to wait until tomorrow because it's already 12 o'clock. So Nissa of Tarkin, really cool card. You have no maximum hand side. Whenever Nissa of Tarkin attacks, sacrifice X artifacts. When you do, sacrifice 1 or more artifacts this way. Tap up to X target creatures and you draw X cards. So basically you attack with her, clear the way for all your other creatures, and you draw a whole bunch of cards. Really great. Reverse Polarity. Choose 1, counter all other spells, which each creature's power and toughness until end of turn, and creatures can't be blocked this turn. Really cool card. Someone could be swinging an Alpha Strike to someone else, and they might have blockers, and you can just say, no, you're dead. So I like it. I like all the modes on this spell, or that spell. It's really cool. Then we got 500 Year Diary, which is a 4 mana legendary artifact clue. So it enters the battlefield. Enters the battlefield tap, and then it makes a blue for each clue token you control. If you have a dedicated clue deck, this is going to be really good. I'm going to try myself to get. This has been a bit stuffy today, and I'm really hoping I don't wake up tomorrow. Ever worse, stuffy nose. Wish me luck. I do wish you luck. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your stream / day or night. I will have a wonderful rest of my stream, and thank you for staying around. I do apologize. I do not have a drink. I really should have prepared myself better, but I mean, obviously this card makes it into the cut. An Unearthly Child. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a doctor, vehicle, or doctor's companion. Put that card into your hand. The rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Really cool card. Definitely makes the cut. Leah 17 Seva Team Warrior. Leela? Okay. Whenever an opponent draws a card, except for the first card they draw, Each of their draw steps, put a +1/+1 counter on her. I mean, the problem, I don't like cards like this where it's just like, oh, it's gonna get big based on other people doing things, and that's all it does. It doesn't have any sort of evasion or trample or anything like that. So it's just like, I'm gonna put a 1/1 creature in front of it. Not a huge fan of cards like this. Ace, Fearless Rebel. Nitro 9. When Ace Fearless Rebel attacks, you may sacrifice an artifact. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Ace. Then fight up to one target creature defending player controls. 4 mana for... Ugh. Seems really expensive. Some of these things are really expensive. Susan Foreman. Time Lord. If you would planeswalk, instead look at the top 2 cards of your planar deck and put one of them onto on the bottom of your planar deck and the other on top, then planeswalk. So it's Scribe Planeswalk and then you add a green. So cool card. I just don't think a 2 mana 1/1 that taps for a green is worth it. Then we got the 5 Doctors, all-star of the deck. Well, will be the all-star of the deck. Kicker 5, it's a 6 mana spell. Kicker 5, search your library and or graveyard for up to 5 Doctor cards. Reveal them and put them into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. If this spell was kicked, put those cards onto the battlefield instead of putting them into your hand. Stellar card when you're trying to get 13 Doctors all together. This card's really cool. I like this one because, yes, it gets stupidly big until end of turn, but it has trample. So, I'm okay with this, and especially when you're building a deck that is mostly historic spells, because that's just the way these decks were built. I love it. All right, the Sea Devils. Create a 2/2 green alien salamander creature token with Island Walk. You do that twice, and then until end of turn, whenever salamander deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to target creature that player controls. Pretty cool. Nothing special though. I like City of Death. I want to find a deck that this would work really, really good in. But you create a treasure token, and then for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns after, you create a token that's a copy of target non-saga token you control. Such a cool card. Then we got Gallifrey Stands, the namesake of the deck that I'm building. When Gallifrey Stand enters the battlefield, turn all Doctor cards from your graveyard to your hand. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a Doctor card from your hand onto the battlefield. Then if you control 13 or more Doctors, you win the game. Such a great card. Can't wait to play it and win with it. Then we got Alistair the Brigadier. Whenever you cast a historic spell, create a 1/1 soldier creature token. And then whenever Alistair attacks, you may pay 8. If you do, create creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of historic permanents you control. Again, really cool card. I think it would be a really cool build around as well. So yeah, it's just really cool. Then we got the First Doctor. When it enters the battlefield, search your library and or graveyard for a card named TARDIS. Reveal it and put it into your hand. If you searched your library this way, shuffle. And whenever you cast a spell with Cascade, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature. Really cool card. The Second Doctor, really cool. Like this one a lot. Players have no maximum hand size, and then at the beginning of your end step, each player may draw a card. Each opponent who does can attack you or permanents you control during their next turn. Love it. The Third Doctor. This Doctor I think just gets really big if I'm not mistaken. It's a 2/2 trampler. And then the Third Doctor gets +1/+1 for each non-creature token you control. And then when the Third Doctor enters the battlefield, create your choice of clue, food, or treasure. Oh, okay. Pretty cool. Fifth Doctor. Beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control that didn't attack or enter the battlefield this turn. Tap those creatures. Love it. The Sixth Doctor, really, really cool. Like it a lot. Whenever you cast a historic spell, copy it. Except this copy isn't legendary. This ability triggers only once. Love it. Seventh Doctor, again, really, really cool. Did a lot of work for me the other day. Whenever the Seventh Doctor attacks, choose a card in your hand. Defending player guesses what that card's mana value is greater. They guess whether the mana value of the card is greater than the number of artifacts you control. If they guess wrong, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast this spell this way, investigate. Oh, really cool. Like this, I like it even better when you read the whole tech box. All right, then we got the Eighth Doctor. Really, really good card as well. When the Eighth Doctor enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Once during each of your turns, you may play a historic land or cast a historic permanent spell from your graveyard. If you do, it gains. If this permanent would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. Then we got Verston Menopetra Leader. It's a insect for a lot. Whenever enters the battlefield, put X+1/+1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield, create X 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying. When you attack with one or more insects, put a +1/+1 counter on each of them. Really cool card. Would love to see this built around. Like it a lot because like a Selesnya insect token creature token deck seems really cool. Then we got Sergeant John Breton. He is a 2/4 trample haste. Share intelligence. Whenever Sergeant Breton deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each draw that many cards. Oh, that's interesting. I actually might put him in the deck because like it's like, oh, I just need to attack you for 2, and then we both draw 2 cards. Like it's really good, like political stuff. Anyway, then we got the Curse of the Fenric. For each player, destroy up to 1 target creature that player controls. For each creature destroyed this way, its controller creates a 3/3 mutant creature token with that touch. For each player, destroy up to 1 target creature. Oh, okay. So you're turning 1 creature on each board to a 3/3 mutant. Pretty cool. Target non-token creature becomes a 6/6 legendary horror creature token named Fenric and loses all abilities. Wait, target non-token creature. Oh, interesting. And then target mutant fights another target creature named Fenric. I like this card a lot, man. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Then we got Dugan, Private Detective. Dugan's private power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. Whenever he enters the battlefield or attacks, investigate. And then you may pay 2, tap. He deals damage equal twice its power to another target creature. Activate only once. Oh, he's cool. Then we got Bessie the Doctor's Roadster. It's a 3/4 haste vehicle through 2. Whenever Bessie attacks, another target legendary creature can't be blocked this turn. Then we got Ace's Baseball Bat. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 as long as the equipped creature is attacking. It has first strike and must be blocked by a Dalek if able. Equipped for 1 for a legendary creature and pay 3 to equip to anything else. Then we got a couple of lands here, or a land here, it looks like. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you surveil. You may spend this mana to cast a Time Lord or an alien. Oh, okay. So it's a... Oh, I like it. This will make the cut then. I didn't read it before. But yeah, it makes Time Lords, or it's any color land for Time Lords. Pretty cool. Day of Destiny, not that great of a card, but it's a legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. Nothing special. Heroic Intervention, just an amazing card, protects your stuff. Time Wipe, great board wipe. Return a creature you control to its owner's hand, then destroy all creatures. And we got Heroes Podium. Each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other legendary creature you control. And you can pay S, look at the top X cards of your library, and reveal a legendary creature card from among them, and put that into your hand, and then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Honestly, this might make the... Oh, it costs 5, though. Ugh, gross. Well, we can't play 2 of these. Twice Upon a Time is a great card. You can search your library for a doctor card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. And then if you can cast this spell only if you control 2 or more doctors. Then take an extra turn after this one. Exile Twice Upon a Time. What I like about this one is if I have the 12th doctor out, if I'm not mistaken, I demonstrate it, but they can't cast it because they don't have 2 doctors. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. But then we got some lands here. Lands. Oh, here we are. Not lands. Here. Banished to another universe. Affinity for historic permanence, so it would be pretty cheap. Enters the battlefield. Exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until... Oh, it's... okay, that's pretty cool. Time Lord Regeneration, also pretty cool. Displaced Dinosaur, such a good card. Turns all historic permanents into 7/7s. Got Sonic Screwdriver, we mentioned that earlier. TARDIS, Swords of Plowshare, Path to Exile. Both really, really good cards. The fact that they're both in this deck is absolutely disgusting. We got Return to Dust, which isn't that great anymore. We got Explore, 3 Visits, Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, Talisman, Hero's Blade, which is a crypto creature, gets +3/+2. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach Hero's Blade to it. Not really worth running, in my opinion, in the deck that I'm building. We got a Talisman, Thought Vessel, Mind Stone, some more lands. And then we got the tokens here, which I'm excited to take a look at. We got a food token, which is a bag of jelly beans, which is pretty cool. And then we got our 1/1 warrior. We got a treasure warrior. We got a clue and a human rogue. Copy and soldier. Mutants that you would be given to other people. Mutant that you'd be given to other people. Alien insects. Alien insect and alien salamander. Nice. Mutant and salamander. And mutant. Soldier and copy. We went through that one a lot faster, which is pretty sweet. We're going to put this up here. We're going to put these... separate. Okay, so we got lands. We got doctors. Alright. Alright, 13th Doctor. So here's the cool thing. This deck and this deck bleed together pretty well. Honestly, they kind of bleed all together pretty well. Because this cares about historic spells. This cares about casting things from anywhere that's not your hand. And then this, like, allows you to suspend cards. But then when you suspend them, you're casting from exile. And then if you're exiling historic spells, then this triggers, like, it works surprisingly well together. You are putting a lot of different things all together. Oh. $12.17. Work in the morning. I think what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna open these collectors boosters, go over these, and then we're gonna call it for a night, and then we'll go over these two tomorrow, and then build the deck tomorrow. I'm getting tired, and I do work all morning tomorrow morning. So we're gonna open our first collector's booster. Let's see what we get. Makeover montage for your commander deck. Kind of like so we got the 8th Doctor. When the 8th Doctor enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Yeah, he's really good. And then a land. They're not quite what I was expecting. Okay. I didn't realize there were only going to be 2 cards. Ooh, a foil for Nox. Sweet. And Amy Pond. We have Strax the strong Sontarian Nurse. He is a 5 mana 5/5 Vigilance Trample, and then you can pay 2, sacrifice an artifact, choose a player at random. When you do, Strax fights another target creature that player controls. When it deals damage to a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And then the full art Exotic Orchard, sure, seems pretty bad, but I will happily use it. Last one. Foil Alsteir's Brigadier and Wound Reflections. That's actually a pretty expensive card. All right. Pretty interesting packs. Yes. And then let's go over. Let's go over these. So Plane Chase is another way of playing Magic where you have a Plane Chase deck where it would be face down like this, and then when you planeswalk, you start the game on a plane. So for instance, if we were starting a game right now, it would be Madison Colony Ship, right? And whenever a creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each other creature its controller controls that shares a creature type with it. Oh god, that's terrifying. And then once each turn, you get a free die roll on the planner die, which is this right here. 4 sides are blank. You have a Chaos Ensues and a Plane Shift die. And then once per turn, you can pay it for free or roll it for free. Try to get off the planes or whatever you're trying to do. And then each subsequent time, you pay 1 to roll it, then you pay 2 to roll it, then you pay 3 to roll it each additional time after. And then whenever Chaos Ensues, turn target creature face down, it becomes a 2/2 Cyberman. Absolutely terrifying. So then we have Hotel of Fears. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You lose life equal to the mana value. You may play that card this turn. And then Praise Him if you Chaos Ensues. Whenever Chaos Ensues, choose a color. Put an X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the devotion of that color. Then sacrifice another creature. Wow. Cool episode, though. Then we got the Matrix of Time. When you planeswalk to the Matrix of Time, each player exiles the top card of their library. During your upkeep, you may play land cards. You may play lands and cast spells from among cards exiled with Matrix of Time. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell from among cards exiled with Matrix of Time, that card's owner loses 3 life and exiles the top card of their library. There's a card that does something very similar to this. And then whenever chaos ensues, create 2 treasure tokens. Pretty cool. Then Unleash the Flux. When you encounter Unleash the Flux, so this is a phenomenon. So what would happen if we flipped into it like we just did? You would do the effect and then you would planeswalk to the next one. So whenever you encounter Unleash the Flux, each player sacrifices a non-land permanent. When you then you flip a coin. If you lose the flip, repeat the process. Ugh, gross. Applan Wartrim. At the beginning of your upkeep, put an exposure counter on this. Then you lose life equal to the number of exposure counters on it. Oh wow, that's insane. So when you flip, so the first person would lose nothing. The second person would lose 1 life. That second person would lose 2, 3, so on and so forth. That's really crazy. Whenever chaos ensues, create 2 black alien angel artifact creature tokens with first strike vigilance, and whenever an opponent casts a creature spell, this permanent isn't a creature until end of turn. Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's the episode, the second episode, like with River Song in it. The Doctor's Tomb. If a creature would die, instead exile it, and that creature's controller loses 2 life. Whenever chaos ensues, redistribute any number of players' life totals. Each of those players gets 1 life total back. Not sure what they mean by redistribute. I guess, I don't know. Oh, so like if I had 30, you had 20, and we would redistribute. You would have 30 and I would have 20. Oh, that's cool. Bowie base 1. At the beginning of your end step, go target creatures controlled by the player to your left. Whenever chaos ensues, target creature gains island walk until end of turn. Oh, this is the Mars one. Dalek Intensive Care. When you planeswalk to Dalek's Intensive Care, and at the beginning of your upkeep, exile a non-Dalek creature you control. If you do, create a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with Menache. It gains haste until end of turn. Whenever chaos ensues, target Dalek you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. The Moon Base. Low gravity. All creatures have pay 2. This creature gains flying until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Wow. Whenever chaos ensues, for each opponent, choose up to 1 target creature card that player in that player's graveyard. Put those cards onto the battlefield face down under your control. They're 2/2 Cybermen. Oh wow. Last one, City of the Daleks. Whenever you attack, target opponent loses X life, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Whenever chaos ensues, for each opponent, you create a 3/3 Dalek artifact creature token with menace that attacks that opponent this turn. If able, those tokens gain haste. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Really cool. Oh, my throat is getting dry. Doing all sorts of reading. So we have the Lux Foundation Library. Players have no maximum hand size. Whenever the creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Whenever chaos ensues, put a shadow counter on target creature. Creature with a shadow counter can block and be blocked only by creatures with shadow. Wow, cool. Lake Silencio. Still point in time. All spells have split second. As long as this... Oh god. Whenever chaos ensues, Lake of Silencio deals 6 damage to target creature and opponent controls. If the creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. Amy's house. When you planeswalk to Amy's house, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile a non-land card from your hand with a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. Whenever chaos ensues, time travel. Pretty cool. There's 2 Amy zones apparently. Okay, yeah, it's the same thing. Ood Sphere. Great episode. Non-creature spells you control have Convoke. Whenever chaos ensues, for each opponent, goad up to 1 target creature that opponent controls. Until end of turn, those creatures can't become tapped unless they're being declared as attackers. That's cool. Human Time Lord Meta Crisis phenomenon. Whenever you encounter this, each player chooses 1 or 2 creatures they control. Each player creates a token that's a copy of the first creature they control, except it isn't legendary. Then that player who chose a second creature puts a +1/+1 counter on the token they created equal to the power of the second creature they chose. Super cool. Bad Wolf Bay. Beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner control at the beginning of the next end step. When chaos ensues, cards can't enter the battlefield from exile this turn. Oh, gross. Then planeswalk. 2 Streams Facility. Another great episode. Whenever you planeswalk to this, and at the beginning of the first upkeep of the game. What? Oh, each player chooses green, arch, or red waterfall. Okay, each player who last chose green arch may play an additional land during each of their turns. Creatures you control by players who last chose red water. Wait. The first upkeep of the game. Each player chooses green. When you planeswalk to 2 Streams Facility at the beginning of the first upkeep of the game, each player chooses. Weird. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see why. It's worded really, really weird. So basically, when you planeswalk to this, you choose either green arch or red waterfall. You can play an additional land if it's green arch. Waterfall gives your creatures +2/+0 in haste. And then whenever chaos ensues, each player who last chose, they switch what they had. Okay. Sorry, it took me a second to read that and figure it out. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target creature you control becomes a copy of target creature an opponent controls. From Will of the Council. When the chaos ensues, starting with you, each player votes for a creature you don't control. Exile each creature with the most votes or tied for the most votes. Pretty cool. New York. At the beginning of combat on your turn, till end of turn, non-creature artifacts you control become 3/3 vehicles. In addition to their other types, gains flying, haste, and crew 1. Whenever chaos ensues, create a treasure token and a 2/2 white alien creature token. Okay. And Pompeii. Whenever you planeswalk to Pompeii, and at the beginning of your upkeep, put an eruption counter on it. Whenever you roll a blank on a planar die, scry 2, and then add an eruption counter. And then when chaos ensues, Pompeii deals damage to each creature and each player equal to the number. Oh wow, number of Pompeii or eruption counters on it. Each player sacrifices a land, then planeswalk. Gross. At least it can only happen once. Oh. You know, Alan, you've been awfully quiet lately. I'm starting to think you're ignoring me, and it's breaking my heart. The Doctor's Childhood Barn. Creatures you control enter the battlefield tab. Whenever chaos ensues for each opponent, choose up to one target non-land permanent that opponent controls. Untap those permanents. They phase out. They can't phase in as long as the Doctor's Childhood Barn remains face up. Whenever you planeswalk, those permanents. Unacceptable. Storm Cage Contaminant Facility. Each creature card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana value plus exile 3 cards from your graveyard. Cool, cool, cool. When chaos ensues, detain target creature and opponent controls. Until your next turn, that creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. Cool. The Drum Mining Facility. Whenever you roll planar die, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain haste until end of turn. Whenever chaos ensues, end the turn. Holy crap! Singing Towers of Darlium. Each non-land card in your hand without Foretell has Foretell. Foretell cost is equal to its mana value. Cost reduced by 2 colorless. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile it from your hand. Cast it on a later turn for its Foretell cost. Pretty cool. Whenever chaos ensues, you may cast a foretold card you own from exile without paying its mana cost this turn. Fixed point in time. Whenever you encounter fixed point in time until your next turn, if a player would planeswalk as a result of rolling a die, chaos ensues instead. Pretty cool. All creatures have boasts. Pay 1. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Whenever chaos ensues, put an indestructible counter on target creature you control that attacked this turn. And then we got North Pole Research Base. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent draws a card and creates a treasure token. Whenever chaos ensues, create a 2/2 white alien creature token. When you do, tap target non-creature and opponent controls, put a stun counter on it. Temple of Adipose. Beginning of your post-combat main phase. There's an additional beginning phase after this. Ooh, that's cool. Then chaos ensues, reverse the game turn order, then planeswalk. Oh god, that's annoying. And then we got Kerblam Warehouse. Whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Whenever chaos ensues until your next turn, non-creature artifacts you control gain sacrifice this artifact, flip a coin. If you win the flip, this artifact deals 3 damage to any target. The Dining Car. When you planeswalk to the Dining Car, each player creates a food token. 66 seconds. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature with the least toughness among creatures you control, then investigate. Whenever chaos ensues, activated abilities of artifact tokens you control cost 2 less to activate this turn. Pretty cool. Last pack, and then we're gonna call it a night since 12:30. All right, we have the Pyramid of Mars. Whenever you planeswalk to Pyramid of Mars in the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 2. When chaos ensues, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Caught in a parallel universe. Whenever you encounter Caught in a Parallel Universe, each player chooses a creature you controlled by the player to their left. Each player creates a token that's a copy of the creature, except it has Menache. Guardians of Tranquil Repose. Whenever a creature dies, exile it if controller scries 1. Whenever chaos ensues, create X 3/3 Dalek artifact creature tokens with Manache. X is 1 plus the number of cards exiled with this card. Spectrox Mines. Whenever you planeswalk Spectrox Mines and at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 3 life and create a treasure token. Whenever chaos ensues, create a food token and a 2/2 black human rogue creature token. Coal Hill School. Whenever a player casts a historic spell, that player draws a card. Gross. Whenever chaos ensues, return target historic spell from your graveyard to your hand. Unit headquarters. Whenever you planeswalk to unit headquarters and at the beginning of your upkeep, create a tapped 1/1 white soldier creature token. Chaos ensues, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. The Cheetah Planet. Whenever you planeswalk to the Cheetah Planet and at the beginning of your upkeep, put up to 2 +1/+1 counters on non-cat creature you control. It becomes a cat in addition to its other types. Whenever you chaos ensues, all cats gain provoke until end of turn. Whenever a cat creature attacks, if its controller may have target creature defending player controls, untap and block it if able. We got Antarctic Research Base. When at the beginning of your upkeep, investigate. And whenever chaos ensues, put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the number of artifacts you control. It becomes a plant in addition to its other types. Each creature card in your graveyard has scavenge. The scavenge cost is equal to the mana value. And then whenever chaos ensues, create 2 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. Last one, TARDIS Bay. First spell you cast each turn with mana value 2 or greater has Cascade, and when chaos ensues, gain control of target artifact, then planeswalk. Pretty cool if I say so myself. However, I am getting tired. I have read a lot of cards and we're only halfway done. So, we're going to call it quits for tonight. We're going to try to finish this again tomorrow. And then we'll build the deck since we went over a lot of the extra stuff. So we will see you hopefully tomorrow. Deuces.